I told you that the neighbors' chickens, we call it the welfare recipients. It's a rooster, a guinea, and a hen.
Yeah.
They all come over to the house.
Is this a joke? No.
No. It sounds like a sort of a joke,
It
but
does.
no. But they come over, and I don't mind because they eat the grasshoppers out of the yard.
Yeah.
Grasshoppers
Them
get into the plants.
grasshoppers.
But my spousal unit got some chicken, went to Brown Feed,
Yeah.
got a 50-pound bag of chicken scratch,
Yeah.
and she's been feeding them the chicken scratch.
Yeah.
And so anytime the back door opens, they come running like they haven't eaten in a month.
Food time.
So she throws the scratch out for them.
Yeah.
There's corn growing in my yard now.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, got corn stalks coming up.
Oh, so that's how you're going to get to grow them.
Yeah, pour some chicken scratch down in your garden. Yeah. So I just had to get that off my chest.
That is awesome.
So now while she's out there cleaning my pool,
yeah,
then she can mow over the corn stalks when she gets finished with that.
But then you can't have corn on the cob later.
I don't want corn growing in my backyard.
Yeah,
it's all sporadic. You
great.
got one stalk here, one stalk there. So it's like a bad haircut.
Whatever.
Okay. All right. Now we got to get to work here.
Yeah, we do.
Time for Law Talk with Lampasas attorney Natalie Bennett.
Natalie.
She got an office in Burnett too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's got a couple offices.
Okay. All right. This was about what?
This one is she's touching on divorce and custody.
Divorce and custody. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Law Talk with attorney Natalie Wallace Bennett.
So today we're going to talk about big red flags, the biggest issues that I see in divorce and custody cases. So number one red flag is drugs. If you are about to get into a divorce or custody case, you need to make sure you can pass a drug test. Drugs have become so prevalent today that you would be surprised how many cases have some sort of drug abuse, drug allegations, somebody's using drugs or isn't using drugs, and that is one of the biggest ways to be the one who gets custody or loses custody of children. And don't forget, some of those tests go back almost a year. They can do urinalysis, which doesn't go back very far unless it's marijuana, and then it goes back a lot further. But they can do a nail test, which goes back quite a ways, or a hair test, which is supposed to be around 3 months, but if it's body hair instead of head hair, it goes back longer. So be sure that you are clean. The next one, and this is just a red flag, domestic violence. Domestic violence is a big red flag issue. If you are a divorced mom or dad, you do not want to get into a relationship with someone who has a lot of domestic violence issues, because that can be used against you in a custody case. If you get into a relationship, I've had people come in and want to modify their custody orders based on the fact that the other parent is now with their significant other who either has a drug issue, has domestic violence issues, has criminal issues, or CPS issues. And those were my next two, are criminal cases and child protective services cases. And criminal cases, of course, they're not all equal, right? A traffic ticket, that's not a big deal as far as custody type issues would go. But if you're convicted of manufacturing or delivering a controlled substance, that could be a really big deal. Even bigger is if you're convicted of an offense where you are a registered sex offender. That's going to be very, very bad. And if you were in a custody fight and you got in a relationship with someone who was a convicted sex offender, you honestly are very likely to lose your child in a custody battle. And all people who register are not the same, but unfortunately, it's just a red flag and it's a huge trigger for judges. If you get in a relationship with someone who has an open child protective services case where their children were removed from them due to drugs or domestic violence or abuse or something of that nature, that's also a red flag for a judge that they're going to look at and be very concerned about. And again, all child protective services cases are not alike, and they could be the good parent who the child was placed with. And in that scenario, that wouldn't be an issue. But if they're the parent that all of their kids were taken away from due to acts that they themselves did, that could definitely affect a divorce or custody case. And then the last three are just do's and don'ts and beware. So beware of social media. If you know that you're in the middle or your significant other is in the middle of a divorce or custody case, do not rant and rave all over social media. And even if you think that it's not going to show up, I don't even know of cases that I have done in the last 20 something years where somebody hasn't brought something from Facebook or social media or Messenger or, something. They've printed out something and bring it, and we go to court and try to use those things in court to show the other person's positives or negatives. The other thing, always assume you're being recorded. In Texas, you can be recorded without your knowledge. So assume that when you're talking on the phone, when you're meeting in person to exchange children or whatever, assume you're being recorded and act appropriately, because you do not want the judge to hear you cussing the other person out. And the same thing with text messages. Those are always printed out and used in court. You do not want a judge to read you just cussing your ex up one side, down the other, or saying horrible things. That's not the image you want to portray in a divorce or custody case. So be very careful about all of those things. Just remember those red flags, remember those warnings, and hopefully you will have a much more successful case if you ever are, unfortunately, going to court for divorce or custody issues. This has been Law Talk with attorney Natalie Wallace Bennett, board certified attorney in child welfare law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. If you are in need of an attorney, check us out online at nataliebennetlaw.com or stop by one of our locations on the square in Burnett or on the square in downtown Lampasas.
The information you obtain is not intended to be legal advice, and this broadcast does not create an attorney-client relationship. Consult an attorney regarding your individual situation.
Good stuff.
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, for me, I'm old. I'm too old to get a divorce. The warranty's already worn off. So
And all your kids are grown.
all the kids are grown. And so I'm a catch anyway. I
Yeah.
don't know why my spousal unit would want to get rid of me.
Right. During this recording, she did mention that like the social media, even if you not posting anything, watch out for what your friends are tagging you in.
Oh,
Yes, because
Yeah.
she had a whole case just get blown because a friend tagged him this person in a photo. That was it. Yeah.
really?
So we'll watch it all.
Just
Careful.
log out. Yeah, close the account.
Bye.
Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, this time every Wednesday, it is Law Talk with Lampasas attorney Natalie Bennett. 7:50, 10 before 8. Lampasas Real Country. Today's hits, yesterday's favorites. Good morning.
Ken and Casey in the morning. Yeah, even HR is wondering why they're still here.
Why?
Lampasas Real Country.